knowing the world. There is a tumuli which goes in the Sangeet, classical music. It has been sung by Kishori Amonkar as well as some other Hindustani classical singers. It goes like this: Pratama Surasade, Ghatame Prananade. Pratama Surasade, Ghatame Prananade. Avana Gavana Jana Vidya Kachina. Avana Gavana Jana Vidya Kachina. Bhedapaye Guranapaye. So if you understand through the Guru, he is telling Bhedapaye Guru Sevasa. जब होत ज्ञान तब अलंकार कर दिखा. So this is the way that the best Sangeeta, the best music as well as the best poem, which is being created through the thriving of the poet's mind and its experiences with the life as such. And the content and the abhivakti of the poetry definitely varies. Sometimes what happens, see, a poem explicitly wants to tell something openly, and then the language of the poem will be like this. Like the language of the poem, it's one of the poetry of a famous medieval poet in Karnataka, Basavanna. He tells like this: the language of the poem should be like a pearl necklace. Nudidare muttina haradantirave. And the language of the poem should be like a crystal ball. It should be transparent. And the language of the poem should be like this, wherein the divine should nod its head in agreement with the language that he speaks. This is a completely transparent language wherein he wants us to tell something to the audiences, to the people as such. But the modern poetry doesn't go like this sometimes. It struggles with the word and the meaning. One of the best saying of our famous poet Bendre, he tells language, the daughter of the mind, is suffering with a primordial pain. The Bhasha jo hai na, wo primordial hai. It is suffering actually with the content which he has got, which the language has got, the nudi has got, with a pain. But the meaning is becoming weak and thin without finding the way. There is definitely a kind of discordant thing between a shabda and artha. The poet doesn't definitely writes a poetry to give something, some meaning at all. So this is one of the things that one of the best poems that we hear definitely doesn't give meaning, but it gives some experiences. So with these some words, I would like to invite the first Sudhir Kumar Dutt. Yeah, I want to invite him to read his poem.
Namaskar. I was asked to write poetry translated into English or Hindi. It was originally like this, but it is kind of him that he is asked to read one original. So I don't have with me, but still the poem that I'll be reading out now. It's translated one, but a few lines of it, the first few lines, I'll be reciting from my own memory in my original Bengali language, which is very sweet.
Yeah.
Bengal.
So the poem is Resha O Khuradhwani. Resha name. Khuradhwani is trumpeting sound. The hoofs, the sound of hoofs. Resha O Khuradhwani. In English I have translated into a neighing horse on hoofs. In fact, this is considered by the critics and the poets in Bengal post-modern epic of about 1000 lines. It has 11 cantos and starts with an invocation, the epic device. But here I am reading one canto, canto 1, first canto only. There is no storyline as such as in epic we find, but it's a mosaic of ideas and fragments of stories organized into an organized whole. Here time merges into the timelessness and space into the cosmic span that's even to anarchy also. I will read out the first part and first few lines in Bengali. And each canto has its separate name. Bengali its name is Tathagato. Ei ki samoy noy. Is it not the type Tathagato? First Bengali, a few lines I am just reading out. কিভাবে আরম্ভ করি স্থিতাবস্থা প্রিয় শব্দগণ বড় বেশি ঠান্ডা ভারী পথ আগলে শুয়ে আছে ভয়ে আমিও আঁতকে উঠি মাথার উপর একটি হামুক শূন্য পাক খাচ্ছে সামান্য লিখি আমি না হয় দুপাতা পদ্য লিখি হে গহন অপ্রকৃত জল কিভাবে ধারণ করি অবাঙ্গোচর এক একটি হিরণ্য ক্রোধ ডিভাইড রথ হিরণ্য ক্রোধ আছে পড়ে যায় তো আই এম জাস্ট ট্রান্সলেটেড পার্ট আই রিডিং ক্যান্টো 1 ইজ ইট নট দ্য টাইম তথাগত হাউ শুড আই বিগিন দ্য ওয়ার্ডস কোল্ড হেভি অ্যান্ড কমপ্লেসেন্ট ব্লক মাই ওয়ে আই শাডার in fear. Up above swirls a dark, hungry-mouthed void. See, just I'm a poet. Keep toiling with words. Oh, the ocean, unknowable within. Tell me, who dares sculpt your dazzling wrath, which always incognito, inconceivable, keeps crashing on the forlorn shores. Can the wrath ever be divine? I wonder. Can the 7 tongues of fire explode the Hades? Screaming, can I be the wood in your sacred fire? Can't I? Otherwise, how can I sit the moon into a large bowl? Look, the old Advaita says, had unleashed a long-tailed peacock at me, saying, go wherever you want to, left or right, succumb to your secret pulse, enjoy the cheer, but never forget to proclaim, Tathagato is there, ready always. What an enigmatic birth scroll gets unfurled. Look, the river Reli flows gushing across the vintage Gorkha village. It's still not the time to bid adieu. We are sipping tea in pale and nacre cups, 5 persons sharing 3 thatched huts. The pine forest, not very far, silently waits for the moonrise. I can't really figure out why Khodo Kedar, the guy I knew once, keeps on coming up in memory. Or our holy deed in Chandranath, my mother and I trudging on the hills, and that bizarre black dress and an odd worn out hat on. I left the Sufi Khanka and headed straight for the horse den in Constantinople. Lo and behold, a girl, stark naked, came, knelt down and whispered in slurred voice, "Me Lord, you have arrived finally." All the landscapes in the mist surreal, aren't they? Many a time have I entered into new flesh and blood, leaving behind the cloaks torn and tattered. Only the riverbed knows the amount of soil it has removed in its course. But I move neither from nor towards. Yet they say, I am the spoiled angel hailing from the Saptarshi Mandal, the holy constellation of 7 stars. Cared little for the stunned elders who found me bursting into impromptu songs and defiantly playing the tabla. Must be nuts. Their tone faded into whisper. My mother would fondly say, "Oh, my little enfant terrible. Let me be what I am. Get lost, you dead pasts and idiots, obsolete like soiled currency notes. Look, right out of the sacks of the untouchables, and the hearth of Gunavali, the sun, deliciously warm, is about to leap. And that is why, Tathagato, in this shivering cold, I am standing here bare-bodied, till the ship finds its reflection deep into the well, till the distant underprivileged hamlets find the answers they are looking for, till the breeze gets stormy and runs through the horizon, till the untamed fire burns down all the sheep hide of the lion cubs, till a little portion of food reaches all who starve. I cannot bring myself to sleep. Bait done up with feathers turns into thorns, lying on the ground, stranded. I cling to it more than I ever did. I rub my face and suddenly find just beneath my beating heart something dangerous. It is my agonized soul that has engulfed the entire sky. Can our agony ever turn into firmament? Was the ancient truth, the Arya Satya, flawed somewhere another? The vintage baritone of Bipin Mura, the old villager, reverberates around his heart. The rustic melody of Chumur melts into dark toddy. Just when the death is breathing down his neck with its stunning cruelty. Didn't you hear some poet whispering about his quest for immortality? Did I have any personal ambition? Did I? If I were just a decade younger, I would have definitely tied the knot. Wouldn't that make you happy, mother? And you, Lou? All I could ever do was to pour a little water tremblingly from a brass pot, and the final letter that I wrote while the raging fire had me gutted. These apart, could I ever do any good to anyone? With mustard seeds rolling under my feet, restless, I just moved from one smoke to another. The planet still remains as it has always been, colonial, on its diurnal spin like a broken top. Look, I ride the ancient sun, driving its 12 horses while traversing the sky. I smoke cigars, puffing out cosmic cloud up to the horizon. And out of that smolder forms the precipitation, the rain, bursting over the 1,000 island park. only the poets could get to know the secret tales of barley, paddy, and harvest. So none will be able to decipher how that celestial lady bark and the solitary light of Avesta lit up the hearts of the lovers, the poets, and the lunatics. They also failed to make out how that lowly boy, the son of a pretty schoolmistress, turns into a poet, rules the words, and outplays all the institutions. Didn't we see him selling cow dung cakes till the other day, the whisper? I was born of dust and clay, still have nothing beyond a tattered coat and a torn pillow. Bliss and glory be to you, the orphan boy, inconsolable, who returns home crying, may his grace protect the poets, hanging desperately on the branches of the divine Parijat tree.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sorry for, I could finish it, okay, it's a long, thank you.
Now, I would invite Indu Shekhar Tatpurush to read his